walking with his disciple. He had to endure the suffering and the scorn. But like he himself has said in the Holy Bible, a king has no honor in his own land. Cause every time you're trying to bring the people together, you will always find a Judas Iscariot, a certain friend in me who will prove to be a deceiver, whose mission is to ensure that everything fall along flat. To put on the armor, put on the armor, is what you deserve. Put on the armor of love. I'm wearing the breastplate of righteousness, so they can't jump up on my chest. I'm protected from above with the armor of love. The gift of life we ought to preserve with the armor of love. Just practice what I told you now. Never be ashamed when they quick to criticize you. Just stay humble, be as vigilant as you could be. Cause no matter how you try to be an example, you will always find some of them going to disagree. Look how long I'm trying to rule the Kaiso monarchy, and then finally God bless me to wear the crown. The same people who I thought would have been so happy, they turned me enemy and trying to fight me down. But I put on the armor, I put on the armor, is what I deserve. I put on the armor of love. I wear the belt of the gospel of truth. You can't tie the roots, man, foot. I'm protected from above with the armor of love. The gift of life you ought to preserve with the armor of love. Put on the armor of love that he may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. No matter how they think they bad, some of them don't know that good always triumph over evil. So put on the armor, put on the armor of love, put on the armor, put on the armor of love. This is not the armor of the giant named Goliath. Though so strong, was killed by a sling and a stone. And not because you find sometimes I just be so quiet. Tell them they cannot defeat me, so leave me alone. I would never depend on my own ability. No way. I would trust in the Almighty to see me through. Like when King David led the Israelites on to victory. In order to get mine, this is what I'm going to do. Put on the armor, put on the armor, is what you deserve.
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I will be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
Tell me howdy, all because of politics.
We say a special good night to those of you joining us via the various mediums, those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, those of you joining us on We Noise Radio, We Noise TV.
But then I remember John Thomas was the one who led the protest.
Hope that you all have had a fabulous day today. May Day!
Like I bet.
May Day! May Day!
But just remember the local workers and make sure that you treat them right. Don't leave them.
Vibes International.
Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling with them mouth closed. They say when you pour is when you expose. My people.
You know, I think some folks may be on their way down from Carriacou if they're not down yet.
Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling with them mouth closed. Be careful with the tons when you pick it.
I've been getting some reports about May Day celebrations. I haven't seen the speeches and so on. No, I haven't seen them.
Gas transformation.
If you have, you're free to call.
Me tanky can't
Yeah, the phone lines are open. Yeah, 440-7377,
I've been wrong inducted.
421-7279.
When I start to talk, you say in a fast transformation in we mass. Hey.
And let me see who is on here tonight. Yeah, it's been a while we've done a roll call, eh? Agnes Henry, good night to you. Alban Harris, Dolores Redhead, Anya James, James Arnold, Anna Lewis, Moko Joseph, Adrian Watts, good night to the lovely Mrs. Watts and Adrian Watts. Carib Spice, good night to you.
You say hush me mouth cause old talk is cheap. I still talking politics.
Alcy Peters, good night to you. Carol Belfont, Cindy Thomas, Dalton Sharon, Sharon Felix, Merle Patrick, Anne-Marie Grant, Joan Henry, Kathleen Ledlow, Mayana Julian, Stephanie John, good night to all of you. Trajan, John, Gillian Williams, Bernadette Joseph, Sherma Jeremiah, Byron Frank, Joyce Lewis, Fitzroy Philip, yeah, Bernadette Joseph, Sherma Jeremiah,
Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blue.
Albert Nicholas,
Canadians balling.
Sherma Jeremiah, how is my little sweetheart doing?
Be careful with the tons when you're picking rows.
Angela Lendor, Teresa Joseph, I see you there. Cicely Celestine, Alice.
John in we mass. No what in me tanky can't even last. Transformation in we mass. But you driving wrong inducted to glass. Transformation in we mass. When I start to talk, you say in a fast. Transformation in we mass. Hey. Politics, politics. You say hush me mouth cause old talk is cheap. I still talking politics, politics. I would never take me death like a sheep. Was up in Granville, Sanita came right up to me as like he afraid to talk. He said the little work that he get in Cultural Foundation, they take it back. And how we wish he could have take back he vote. Cause that is one thing he regret. Because apart from all those gallant fete, yes, he they do nothing yet. Canadians balling.
Yes, they are.
Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. You supporters balling with them mouth closed. But the higher the monkey climb is more he exposed. My people balling with them mouth closed. Oh God, and this is
And last night into this morning, the election results in Antigua, Barbuda came out.
what we going through, only heaven knows.
And the Gaston Brown administration was returned to office.
Transformation in we mass.
It's an overwhelming majority.
Transformation in we mass. If you love this song, well, raise up your glass. Transformation in we
They got 15 of the 16 seats available on mainland Antigua. The opposition UPP only able to secure one seat. That's the seat of the leader of the opposition out there in Antigua, yeah. And on Barbuda, which is generally a place that the Antigua Labour Party does not do well, yeah, they did not win that seat at all, yeah. But they were able to secure to the 17 seats. They secured 15. The 2 seats they did not secure were the one by, yeah, does call him now the Single Pringle. Yeah, he, the opposition leader out there in Antigua, he was able to secure his seat. All the other candidates lost. And in Barbuda, the opposition party there were able to secure that seat. Yeah, yeah, that's how it turned out in Antigua last night. I know some people in Grenada, they're hearing that results and they're thinking, wow. But I hope you all notice the trend that is taking place, yeah? There's a particular trend. You all followed it, yeah? So you had elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There was regime change there. 14-1. Yeah, 14-1. The only seat remaining was the leader of the opposition in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yeah. The sister party of the New National Party, the National, yeah, the, oh boy, yeah, Democratic Party. New Democratic Party, NDP. They were able to secure 14 of the 15 seats there. Then you had St. Lucia with the St. Lucia Labour Party securing 60, well, you could say 16 of the 17 seats there. Because the 2 independent candidates were independent Labour, as they call themselves. So they were still Labour. And now we see Antigua, yeah, and Barbuda, what has happened there. Quality in Grenada, and let's see what go on now. That particular breeze that is blowing, because these rounds, when people have made up their mind, it seems they're making up their mind in significant enough numbers to have these sort of results. You're not having any close things taking place. They know 8, 7 and them kind of thing. No, that ain't taking place. Transformation in we mass. If you don't like this one, is there you come last. Transformation in we mass. So we know what is taking place, yeah? All we saying is call the thing now. Let me change the song there, man. Yeah, call the thing, call the thing.
Transformation in reverse gear. The whole country panicking in fear. The yellow ideology.
And now we've also seen the situation. The cost of living continues to go up. Yesterday I was able to play for you. Well, not to show you, not to play for you, to show you the consumer price index for the month of February. We know in a while we'll get the ones for March, and you know that is when all the titivation, as we could call it, titivation, started to take place in Iran and so on.
School children hungry. The program was managed real good.
It's going to be very interesting to see what the figures reflect for the months of March and April.
Children barely empty. Government can buy the goods.
We're not necessarily seeing any end in sight, yeah, we, yeah?
Who goes sing and shut the song? I'm going to call my partner Lakey. I hope we did. Carnival taking too long to come. Innocent would never sing that song. By then the topic might get still. All the bitch.
Well, I just got a message from one person who is a, yeah, they went to the May Day celebrations and they had a complaint.
Proper learning, but when children barely
that individual has said that what? Let me just get the exact message here that was sent in. I don't come off it already. They said they unintentionally attended an NDC meeting today in Carriacou, and they are convinced election is close more than ever. Yeah.
By then the topic might get still, or they may try to put me in jail.
Well, my friend, if the last few years have been anything to go by, that is not supposed to surprise you, at least.
Economy, they say the money paid pension.
But I hope they know when they allowed the present administration to destroy the trade union movement, the present administration will not always be in office. So when they're destroying it, they're not destroying the trade union movement for NDC, you know. They're destroying it for all administrations that come afterwards. Because again, the present administration has been very adept at starting to break the bond between the unions and their leadership. Yeah? Today, you're hearing all sorts of things about, they asked the Trade Union Council, the government, you know, at May Day celebrations, asking for 2 hours to do a presentation, which the Trade Union Council turned down. But asking, that's what we heard, that they were asking the Trade Union Council for 2 hours to do a presentation in relation to various things. Because if you look at social media, Justin Pierre has his way of doing things, I have my way of doing mine. If you look at social media over the past 3 weeks, and if you look at the releases sent out by government over the last 3 weeks, and you look at the media appearances by government over the last 3 weeks, there's a story there. And they have been trying to build NDC momentum towards the May Day celebrations today. And their intention, again, I myself, I'm waiting to hear from those of you that looked at the video. I don't know if there's a video out or whatever. I'm waiting to hear from you who attended or who viewed. But when it comes to the May Day, the intention was to make May Day a rallying point of the NDC administration. Make it a political nexus off of which the NDC can build some sort of momentum towards whatever activities they have coming up in the next few weeks. If you all haven't noticed, going over the Granitang on different walls and different places now, you've started to see the graffiti coming up for the NDC. They've started to put up their graffiti different places and so on. So they have started low-key, they've started their campaign. They have their field workers that are going out and doing different things. And while it's important to know what they are doing, it's more important to know what we are doing. And it's more important for those of us that when we check within ourselves and we realize, but what are we doing, boy? And you realize we, meaning you, ain't doing anything, that you have to get cracking. That while this program is going on, that you need to message a 5 people tonight. Tonight, no. Take your phone in your hand and you need to message 5 people that you find been wavering. You need to message now, tonight, right now, 5 people who you believe you can convince to vote for the new National Party at the next general election. Yeah? You need to ensure that you are part of the multiplier effect to get folks to come on out and vote for the new National Party. You have to be part of it. I have my responsibility. I can't text now while I'm doing the program. But we all have our individual responsibilities. We have our responsibilities to check the voters list. We have our responsibility to make sure that those who have to be registered are registered. Again, on election day, we should not be hearing that person A or person B went to vote and then realized that they can't vote. And I think, sorry, folks, I missed a call there. Caller, you can call back. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, we can't be broadsided on election day by realizing that you can't vote. And right now, you may check now and see your name is on the voters list. And you may come back and check that same list next month and your name not there. So you have to get registered. Let me say it again. I don't know which other language I could say it in. I don't know how to say it in French Creole. I honestly don't know how to say that one. I will have to call one of my St. Lucian friends to tell me how to say it. Or one of my Dominican friends to say it. But they're more than friends now. They're kind of like family now. So I'll have to call one of them to tell me how to say it. But we need to ensure that we all get registered. That we are not only registered, but that we are registered and ready. Having your voter's ID does not guarantee you the right to vote. Having your passport, your driver's license, all them, that does not guarantee you the right to vote. The only thing that guarantees you the right to vote is that you must have your voter's registration complete and your name is on the voters list. Yeah? So your name should be on the voters list. We applaud the fact that finally registration has resumed in Carriacou for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and we encourage all of you that were not able to go and get registered to go and get registered now. Full up the place. Because he has to go. The current MP must be the former MP at the end of the last administration, at the next election. At the end of the next election, the present MP must be the former MP. And we must have a new MP in the person of Senator the Honorable Norland Cox becoming just the Honorable Norland Cox. We're taking out the senator. That must be the reality for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That must be the reality for our parliament. We want somebody that will not look at police officers and talk to them as though they are little children, as though they are not the enforcers of law in our country, as they feel they could just talk to them because they're in power. So I could talk to the officer. Not one police officer can say that in my time and in my journey through the Parliament of Grenada that I ever disrespected any of them. Some of them may have low-key disrespected me and I didn't even bother with it. All I say is they're doing their work. If I in a vehicle, they stop the vehicle and they see Senator Scott there and they still want to search the vehicle or they still want to search and search me. They're doing their work. Next thing somebody power bomb on me and I didn't know. They're doing their work. If I go in somewhere and they say you can't go there, go and park up elsewhere. They're doing their work. They say I can't go there because probably it could only take 10 vehicles. 8 was there and they know the 2 vehicles that had to come and go in. I don't know. They're doing their work. So when you feel you could just talk to police officers how you want and cuss them. The police officers have brothers and sisters. They have family members too. The police officers are human beings. So when you feel you could talk to them and treat them how you want, there has to be consequences to those sort of things. And the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique must understand that the behavior of the MP is reflective of you. So when they act in that kind of way, you are the ones that decided this is the person that I want to represent me. So when you have decided that this is the person that you want to represent me, and that is the behavior of the individual, it is representative of you. When they can face the public servants in Carriacou, because that's where they go up there and trying to save he. They feel that coming up there and saying, no, okay, I think go try and it ain't go work. It going. It ain't go work. That's why they run up there, everything. NNP this, NNP that. NNP out of office in 2022. 2023, May Day celebrations was about NNP. May Day celebrations 2024 was about NNP. May Day celebrations 2025 was about NNP. And again in 2026. Some of you just can't leave NNP alone. But don't worry. Since you all love NNP so much, the people of Grenada, inclusive of the workers, are going to bring the NNP back into office so that you can have the party and the leadership that you so love to be able to negotiate with. You're going to get them back, yeah? You're going to get the same group of individuals that you love so much. You will have them. Yeah? So they could help you strengthen the union again. So you could strike for whatever little thing. Anything NNP say or do now, you could strike. Yeah? Anything that you feel like it, you could just strike, yeah? You'll get the opportunity. Since you're so in love with the new National Party, I'm going to give you the opportunity. The people of Grenada just waiting. So all who feel that the situation will turn out exactly like Antigua last night, where it was in favor of the government, go ahead and call the election. You go find out. Call it. Nobody afraid it. Call it. I know the new National Party has their 15 candidates, and all of those 15 candidates are seriously engaged in working out there. So if you're so confident, call the election. Let's see how that turns out for you, yeah? Call it. Don't hold back. Call it. Folks, we are facing a serious challenge at this point in time when it comes to the cost of living in Grenada. It's now 32 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. A significant challenge. There are goods that are on the way to Grenada right now that the prices are significantly higher than what you see in the supermarkets as we speak. When you shop this month and you see the price of those same goods at the end of next month, don't hold your head and ball. Because your government has done absolutely nothing, has put no measures in place to protect you, the average citizen. The same workers that they so claim that they love. Simple mathematics. If you increase my salary by $1,000, but the cost of living increased by $3, already the $1,000 you gave me has been erased. I in the hole by $2,000. So the better thing would have been to ensure that you put mechanisms in place. They're going to Parliament and they're trying to make Parliament into a farce. And understand part of what is taking place there is that these individuals don't want you paying attention to Parliament and what is taking place. They want you to focus on these nexus points of nonsense. So they want you to focus on a whole issue about handing back to people, and so because the Parliament sitting was over. But they want you to focus on that. The focus in their minds should not be on the fact that they have increased the taxes on the cruise ship passengers. Yes, they have. They've increased the amount that they have to pay. And as such, some of the cruise lines may second guess coming to Grenada. Because remember, they're going to other islands where it may not be the same amount, it may be less. So one of the draw to come Grenada may be, okay, you're down to the southern part of the Caribbean. Yes, you're a peaceful country. Yes, you're a beautiful country. But if your cost to visit you is too high, we're not going to burn the additional fuel that we already have to pay more money for to come to the Southern Caribbean, to come to Grenada. If we have to pay more, which means that our profit margin is less. When I say our, the cruise lines, speaking as the cruise lines here, if their profit margin is being eroded in coming to Grenada, where they are already paying more for the food on the cruise ships right now, more for the fuel. They have to be paying more for all of these things. And if on top of that, they then have to pay more per head for people to visit Grenada, you may very well be affecting the bread and butter of many Grenadians here right now. Those people who work in those entities, the taxi men, who get the opportunity when a cruise ship come in to go and do a tour, the busmen, who are not official on the terminal, on the cruise ship terminal, and so to go and get passengers, but they hang around and they might get somebody that, let me bring you Annandale, and they bring them different places and so. Yeah? The vendors who sell to them, the stores within the mall that sell to them. Yeah, the spice vendors. All of these people who depend on the cruise ship season to make that little additional dollar that could help carry them through the non-cruise season. The people who go out and perform for some of the cruise ship visitors. All of these folks, they are facing now additional challenges together with the cost of living crisis that they're facing in Grenada right now, where every month you're seeing significant, and I repeat, significant increases in the cost of basic goods and services here in Grenada. And that is not just me saying, that is the figures that come out from the Ministry of Finance that are saying this. So it's not me saying things willy-nilly. The figures coming out from the Ministry of Finance are telling you this. Yet still, we see no measures being put in place to safeguard, to buffer, to protect the Grenadian consumer with what we know is coming. We know that the cost of electricity is going to go up significantly. Oil hit, I think, this week $135 a barrel at one point. Then $120 something a barrel. That's a significant increase. So we know that right now it does not seem likely that the price of gasoline, kerosene, and diesel will fall anywhere under $17, at least for the next 2 cycles. More than likely, we won't see it falling under there. We would hope that it does. And this is not wishing that it stay up there. Because you know some people can't deal with an issue on an intellectual level. They can't deal with it on a sensible level. They could only rah-rah, ray-ray, and look for confusion. So we're making it clear when we say something here. So when they want to cut the little clip and say, look what he's saying, the wishing bad on the country, that people who viewed the program can say is not so, because he clarified that that is not so. So what we're saying here, not that we want the price to remain at 17 or even go over 17, but that we hope that it drops under. But you're hoping against reality, because you know, based on the price, the median price that you're seeing over the past 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you know that it's not going to go under $17. You also know that while you have a cap in relation to fuel when it comes to transportation, what about a cap in relation to the one at Grenlec? You can't cap it, can you? But you can reduce the government taxes side. You can reduce the non-fuel component of the electricity bill, because some people won't get it with some bills that they really and truly cannot pay. It's going to come up. So it must be addressed. This issue must be addressed. We have old people who basically, they don't have it. They just don't have it, and they don't have people to send it for them. Some of them is the little seed, if they get it, when they get it, as long as they didn't get kick off from it, as some getting kick off. Is when they get a little seed, they just try to pay a little something, you pay a little something, they buy a cooking gas, that sort of thing. But no move. Instead, they try to sidetrack you with all sorts of gimmicks. So it's political gimmick. They say the next time they walk in parliament is with bag of fish. Political gimmicks. People are not interested. Gimmicks can't quell a hungry belly right now. People want to know, what are you going to do? I'll tell you what the NNP would have done. The NNP would have looked at the basket of goods and decided to lower the taxes in relation to some goods that you could have. When you look at a basket of goods that the average Grenadian needs, not just buys, but needs, they really need to have this. That you would have looked at it and say, okay, we're going to reduce the tax on this, this, and this. So that you could have buffered people against the items that you really can't lower the price on. The luxury items. You see the alcohol, the tobacco and them kind of thing? Man, bust tax on that, bust price on it, me and care. But you see the items that people need for their children, for their nutrition. The basic items that the poorer among us, the low-income people, that they usually access, that they need to be able to survive. At least if those items were looked at and some reduction took place. But you see, we have a reactive government. So when they go up without consultation between themselves, because the left hand don't know what the right handy doing. Yeah, the left hand don't know what the right handy doing. So they can go up in Guangkai, right up there in Guangkai, and they could break down place and so on, and then just less than a week before the same week, you had them handing over keys to people because we go in and do some construction here. We need the place. So they went and they handed over keys to some people for some houses that were built. And then when there's a national uproar in Grenada, regionally, and in the Grenadian diaspora about how you could just go and break down people's place. Why? What is the rush? What is the unholy, undue haste to get these people out of that place? Why is it so necessary to run them? And you realize to the left of them is where the Prime Minister living and looking right down on the pool and things. So they see what going on there. So you realize that something is cooking. And you realize close to there is the Kimpton Kawana facility. And you realize, but wait, suppose the government include those lands in the Kimpton. Suppose they include those lands in that Kawana Bay thing now. So that now it runs from the sea straight up to the top of the hill. Suppose they have included that in it. We do not know. Because information is on a need-to-know basis. So as soon as you realize that is happening, they run now, and some deeds that people waiting for years for, they just get them quick. Get them deeds. So that people could go and say, well, the government is giving people title to land and so on. I am happy for every person that got it. I'd be happy if every single person that has applied was able to get it. I'd be very happy for them. Yeah? Okay, now I'll deal with that afterwards. Yeah. I would be happy if every one of them that truly deserve it and it is within reason to give them the property, I would be happy to see all of them receive their documentations in relation to it. But it must not be a public relations gimmick. This is a gimmick government. Everything is about a gimmick. So you're coming up to May Day, you put your labor minister, you put them on every TV program because you're trying to build that momentum towards May Day. You're trying to build that momentum. And folks, I see some folks trying to call me straight. No, try to call me on the WhatsApp. Remember 440-7377 or 421-7279. That's what you need to call me on because I cannot answer on the I can't answer on the direct there. It would not work. Yeah, you need to contact me otherwise. All right? Yeah, do that. Yeah. So that is the situation. It's a gimmick government. They are reacting to certain things but not reacting to what they're supposed to react to. So they realize that people are indignant. They're upset with them about what took place in Guankai. They run and they start to give people deeds. Well, I'm glad. Yeah? I'm glad that that is the situation. That the people getting the thing. But it's a gimmick. And it is reflex action, reactive to what is taking place. And where you need them to be reactive to the increase in the cost of living, to the increase in water, the increase in electricity, the increase in telecoms, the increase in food, the increase in education, the increase in goods and services, and especially the increase in taking care of our elderly and medicine and pharmaceuticals and medical care. That is what we need them to be immediately reactive to. But they're just reactive to the media narratives that are going out there. And then they're catching a set of us out there. And I'm saying us, although it's not me, but a set of us out there to go and sit down talking about potato. That is what they're doing. So forget about the fact that the VAT that is coming out is going to negatively affect you. So many of you listening may have your Netflix subscription and the other subscriptions. It is negatively going to affect you. They can put out 10 press release. If they're lying in it, they're lying in it. The truth is, you are going to feel the effects of it. It's not just simply bringing things in line. It is what they are doing is going to negatively affect you. Yeah? So there are many of us in the creative industry that use things, for instance, like Canva. And just for those who are involved in it, they'll know what I'm speaking about. Canva and the Microsoft Suite. For those of us that might have a Netflix. Yeah? You may have various things that you're paying for online. That the government, and this is how they're selling it, but they know, you can't tell me. There's no way, nobody could convince me that the person who holds the office of Minister of Finance of this country does not understand that if they're going to tax these international bodies, these international businesses, that to cover that tax and maintain their profit margin, they're going to do between two things. Is either to say Grenada is not financially viable for us, we're coming out of Grenada, because if you have, you don't even have 1,000 people paying for Canva in Grenada. You might have 10,000 paying for Netflix. So Netflix might decide to stay in, but what would Netflix do? They will say, okay, we are increasing the price of subscription to the Grenadians. We are not just going to lose money to provide the service there. We are going to increase the price of the subscription. So you could find yourself paying $50 more. You could find yourself paying $100 more. Whatever it is, you can find yourself in that situation because they are going to apply the pressure back on the person that's paying. So it's your pocket that's going to hurt. These are big businesses. They are not going to suffer themselves to provide a service to an island as Grenada, where they consider to have a very small market, which is why Grenada should be doing things to make it more palatable for them. To want to do more business with Grenada, not less. So at a point in time when other countries are putting measures in place to build the digital economy and to encourage companies that may be based outside of their country to come in and set up servers in their country. So it have some African countries doing it and some other countries doing it. They're setting up servers in their country on behalf of other, and millions of dollars being paid for those things. Using solar power, using water to cool down those things. Millions being paid to do that in different countries. Here in Grenada, you're putting things in place so that those companies, because it will be digital, those companies go say, no, if I come to Grenada, I'm going to get hit with that tax. So they don't want to come to Grenada. We cannot continue operating blind in its desperation for money. Because remember, and I think one caller raised it this week, right now remember, they have the clause in place right now where they're not paying down on the loans and so on. When that ends, by that time, they don't intend to be in office. Well, maybe they have an intention, but they pretty much know they won't be in office. It will be up to the NNP to find a way, and it's a good thing we have competent people in the NNP that have been through worse than that before and will know how to deal with it. The NNP will have to deal with a situation where you have to restart these loan payments and meeting your obligations and so on, and at the same time meet the obligations for the increased salaries that they are giving to public workers and so on, etc. right now, and also deal with all the other things that may come our way. So they're trying to make the country into a position where it is economically unviable. That is what they're doing right now. They take some rotten egg and they put it in a bucket with some cabbage. They put some human excrement inside that bucket as well, and they hammer that bucket closed and leave it there for 2 weeks. And they waiting to open it as soon as you reach. That is exactly what is taking place there. And we have to understand what they are doing. And we have to also understand that it may be necessary for us to make our voices heard, to put a stop to what it is that they are trying to do. We are facing a clear and present danger clear and present danger of serious economic instability, not just in Grenada, in the region. We have a group of people that just don't seem to care about those of you that can't make it. There are some people in Grenada, no problem going to the supermarket, buying nearly $2,000 in grocery and going home. They are no problem in doing that. But there are others that could barely even make $200 in the grocery. They can't. They ain't even going in the grocery. They're going by the village shop because they're afraid to go in the grocery. Next thing they throw down something and break it. They're afraid to go there. So they're going by the village shop. But you have to put measures in place to protect those that go in the village shop and protect those that could go in the grocery too, the supermarket. Those that just push the big trolley full of goods. You have to protect them as well as you protect those who just take the local bag and go next door, in the shop next door. Everybody needs protection. Because the ones who might be able to push the trolley, if they have to spend more, the guy that they just give a little money every fortnight or every month to come and trim the lawn for them and cut the hedge and so, his job gone. And if he depending on 5 or 10 people to cut their lawn to make the money to send his children to school, and 5 of them say, boy, things bad, we can't get our money again to come and cut the lawn for us. We got to fight up and try and do it ourselves. You're removing his income. The person they might call to come and clean for them and to wash their clothes and so, who they can no longer hire to do that, that person loses their income. So it may seem as nothing. It may seem as, okay, well, these people could afford. No, there are effects even for those people who you may think have money. They have to look at, they want to continue having money, so they have to be careful how they spend it. It's not people that go and get $500,000 in their hand and just blow all of it in 2-3 days. They want to make sure that they can build on that money, and therefore they have to make prudent economic decisions. And it may mean sending home people in some instances. So we have to understand what we are facing, but we also have to understand that the very same workers who May Day celebrated today, they are the same workers that have to go in the supermarket tomorrow. They are the same ones who take in the bus, where the bus drivers are grumbling now. Hey, 17 a gallon. Went onto a bus the other day. Bus hot. Middle of the day. And you all know the kind of sun we're having these days. Go on the bus hot. So one of the passengers said, driver, you could close up the window and put on the AC, please. Driver say, we put on AC? He said, madam, gas is $17. Can't close up and put on no AC. Can't do that. Because right now they know they ain't getting no price increase. They can't do it. The fishermen in Guave, they having a problem. Because now, the cost for them going out to sea has increased significantly. But they can't get more for the fish. They're not getting more for the fish. And right now they can't even protest because they've been threatened. All you see protesting, we're not buying fish from all you. So they're being threatened along that line as well. But they are affected by the gas price too. If they had an MP that cared about them, said MP would have ensured that not only them, but those in the fish markets up in St. Mark and St. Patrick and St. Andrew and St. David and St. George and Carriacou and Petit Martinique would have ensured that measures were put in place to safeguard those individuals when it comes to the cost of fuel. Other than that, we want them to start going back out to sea with sail and paddle. Man go start to pull oar again and go back out to sea and put up sail and sail. Let me see if we catch the breeze proper to go back out to the water to go and fish. Is that what we're asking them to do? Folks, let's go to the phone lines. 440-7377, 421-7279. Those are the numbers. Give us a call. It is now 4 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. Yeah, for our first program for the month of May. Yeah, our very first program for the month of May. So we're giving you the opportunity to call right about now. Yeah.
My partner Big J does say, I want to fall. Me, I want to fall. I want to stand up for my rights. Everything appears so easy for the new PM in the city. I say this man is a magician.
And I know some folks must be out to the St. Martin, the Porus Catholic Church May Day harvest that's taking place right now.
His basket and brambled with lawyer tactics.
It was the tea party is supposed to finish at 7, but I think they'll be having some activities after that.
By the stroke of a pen, massive increase in salaries. They were broke, so no more money worry. By the stroke of a pen, a whole family on the breadline. Child, he was only 9. By the stroke of a pen, embezzlement in lotto, you save a man.
And community changers, yeah, I think they had their. I wonder who catch that pig in the community changers thing up in River Sally, boy. Who catch the pig?
Never smoke.
And I think we have a call online. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night, Sheldon. How are you doing?
Quite fine. Go right ahead.
Happy wedding, man.
Yes, same to you.
Sheldon, I remember in the Senate, Congress said that they have to come straight and speaking through that. Let the people can beat them back in no. That is concerning about making everybody permanent. They have to be straight to them. And I also remember the Senator Andrew Lewis said if he is the bender and he had the clothes, and when he heard how the crowd is speaking, he had thought of the NMP are speaking. We get the same thing NMP was saying in the campaign about what NMP was saying in the campaign. They're going to make everybody struck off the pen. They're going to make everybody permanent. They say that. But what they are doing now, they're trying to fool the people and tell the people that those who are on contract, they're going to get permanent. And surely there's only one group of people that can make people permanent, and that is the Public Service Commission. Anybody else who do that is fake. It's fake, Sheldon. And the same thing they say they can't do. They're trying to fool people, and they get people the impression they're going to do it. Ingredients. But tell the things that go and get everything for to be permanent. You want to be permanent. What were they doing is just to try to follow, just for to vote for them, but you still remain under the same condition under contract. So that's what I have to say this year.
All right, thank you. Yes, indeed, folks. And, yes, in Andrews Northwest, they had that barbecue. Yeah, they had that barbecue today. And, folks, I want you all to remember as well, Zuria. Yes, Zuria, that is taking place tomorrow for Zuria. That's the breakfast fundraiser that's going to be taking place at the St. David's Police Station from 6 a.m. Folks, support. Buy them out. Buy them out. Yeah? Buy them out if you have the opportunity to do so. Buy them out. Yeah? Every plate, every sip, every dollar makes a difference. If you don't have the money to buy them, listen, just leave something there for her. What's the child that is going through this right now? Just look at her and say that you wouldn't help, yeah? Look at the child that's going through that right now. Look into her eyes and tell her that you're not going to try and help her. Look at her. Watch out, this nice child that should be going to school and everything right now that is having these health challenges. Look at her. Look at her and tell me that you don't want to help somehow. Look into her eyes and tell her you don't care, or tell her you won't help. Even if it's 25 cents or 5 cents that you have and you could give it. It go. If everybody give 5 cents, it go build up to something. Everybody give her $5, it go build up to something. Let's try and save her. Yeah? So that breakfast fundraiser is taking place at the St. David Police Station tomorrow from 6 a.m. It don't even matter what they have on the breakfast menu. Go and get. I didn't even want to see the breakfast menu. They have fried bake, roast bake, all kind of thing, sausage, buffalo wing, all that. I don't even care. All I want people to do is to go and support. Go and help. Yeah? Please. Go and help. Yeah? While others might use their time to go and attack people personally and say, oh, can I have time for that? This is why you take my time and do. Try and help others. Like that youngster in that situation, because many of us are parents. It could be any of us. Today could be them, tomorrow could be you. I hope it is never you, but it is a possibility. Yeah, Holy Innocents Anglican Church, they have their annual Harvest Festival that's taking place on Sunday at the Rectory Grounds in Ladigue, St. Andrew. Remember, they have Holy Mass for those of you that are heading to Mass at 7:30 a.m. And then tea is between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. DJ Kangaroo will be in the house. Sales and games, they have provisions, pastries, food, drinks, dips. That's between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Proceeds in aid of the mission and ministry. All right, so DJ Kangaroo is going to be there. All right, so sales and games and so on. And they're going to have provision, pastries, food, drinks, dips. All kind of thing will be taking place there. All right, so that's the Holy Innocents Anglican Church, their annual Harvest Festival taking place on Sunday, the 3rd of May, 2026. Folks, head on out there. Give your support if you can. And I want to give you all another very important message here. That's the message. Get thee registered. Yeah? Get thyself registered. Be thou registered. Get thyself registered. Art thou registered. Get yourself registered, folks. Yeah? Because we know not the day, we know not the hour, but we know for sure, as God's kingdom, we know for sure that that day is coming, and it's coming soon. And every day we know that that day is one day closer. Every day you have one day less to prepare. Every day you have one day less to get registered. Every day you have one day less of this administration once we do the work. Yeah? Once we do the work. It's not just that they had to go and they can go, you know. We have to do the work to make sure that they go. Yeah? We've got to do the work to make sure that they go. The time will come. Yeah? 14734407377 and 347329. Lord. You know when something becomes automatic, huh? Yeah, you know when something becomes automatic. Yeah, 421-7279. That's the other number for you to call and get onto the inside of this program.
I say this man can be serious.
And folks, let me remind you, those of you who have promised to make your donations, yeah, it is that time again.
It's not about likes and fame. You promise, son,
So by whatever methodology, those of you who would, no one has used the PayPal so far. Nobody. Yeah, so somebody test the PayPal for me. So somebody use the PayPal. We have the PayPal. We have the GoToFet. And there are other means, as some of you would know, to get to me. And yes, because we do need your assistance. It is that time again. We do not want a situation that the program has to go off air. We don't want that situation. Yeah? We really don't want an embarrassing situation, because you know there are several people that would be happy, several people that would be very glad if they can get this program off air. So we cannot, yeah? We cannot allow the program to be affected negatively at any point in time. We can't allow that we have problems with electricity or we have problems with this or that. We have to be able to do this caller. I keep missing this caller. And let me see if I get them back. Yeah. We can't allow that to happen. So those of you that can make your donations, please. As small as you may think it is, you may think, well, oh, only that I have. No, don't worry. Whatever you can, give it. We will put it towards, and when everybody puts something together, we'll be able to deal with the program properly. Yeah? And I'm trying to get back to a caller here that has been calling, but for some reason I don't see when they're calling. I just see the missed call. Okay, well, they'll call back when they're ready, yeah.
People will certainly understand. Don't fret to be a man. The country has never been hard so. Use the pen, let some money go. You said we deserve a lot of money. Was that election gimmickry? By the stroke of a pen, bring me on the plane with you. Foreign minister can help you. By the stroke of a pen, kayaks running from Berry. You shut down the houses that was cruel. By the stroke of a pen, you promised our healthcare will be the best in the head.
And folks, I'm not 100% tonight, so I may not go straight up until the 10 o'clock. I'm trying, but I may not go quite up until the 10 o'clock, eh?
Pen never smoke, but somehow that damn pen catch a stroke.
So you all know at the end of May Day, you were one day closer to election, right?
Would reach cost 90,000.
Again, it is way closer than many of you think, yeah?
That money gone. 200 houses each.
Okay, it is now 7 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Have you yet contacted the 5 people who are people that have wavered and confirmed with them that you need them to support the new National Party? And not that you need them. Put yourself aside. That Grenada needs them. That the region needs them. Because when you look regionally, yeah? When you look regionally, you realize some of them leaders looking down on Grenada. Yeah, they're looking down on Grenada. That is not how we used to be. Yeah, that's not how we used to be. So we need to get to the stage where we have competent, respected leadership in our country on the regional level that will be able to get benefits for the Grenadian people, not benefits for themselves. Not as soon as there was chairman of CARICOM jumping jet and flying all over the place. Oh, we are the chairman of CARICOM, we're the chairman of CARICOM. Like if that was something that people went and vote for. Yeah? So we have to ensure that we talk to those 5 people tonight.
Good night, Scott.
Good night, sir. Go right ahead. Hold on. You've got to kill that volume behind. I'll have to discontinue the call. Okay, caller, you've got to kill that volume behind you. I'll have to discontinue the call.
I killed already.
Okay, great. Go right ahead.
Sharon Scott, I sent some pictures for you today. And you can see what going on with Mongozo.
You sent it where did you send it?
I sent it on WhatsApp and send them back on the.
Oh, okay. I'll check. Yeah.
So see what going on with Mongozo. We start doing some kilos of Mongozo. Me and my brother on the NP, working on the NP because we're not looking for no politics don't buy us. We go on our own. And do our own. I think next week Sunday we'll be doing Mardi Gras. And anytime holiday fall and anytime we'll be doing some other communities. So some people know we do it on our own.
Okay.
On our NP. Support of St. David area. Okay, thank you.
No problem, my brother. Yeah, so I'll check that out in a timing. And so it means on the wrong machine for me now. I can't grab it from over there. Yeah, so we'll deal with that on Monday, God's willing. All right, nice. 440-7377. Just the number you call on WhatsApp. And you can also call us. Let me see if I get back this caller that has been trying to call us. And you can also call us on 421-7279. That's the other number. Good night to you, Connie Tompkin. Good night to you, Maria Marcel and Renee Zadi. Good night to you and Yo Gaming and Maria Marcel. Yeah, I call you out. Yeah, nice. JC Sherry, Ruth Chitterman. Good night to all of you. All right, nice. Yeah. And we're trying to see somebody was trying to call me and I'm trying to reconnect with them, but like they move away from the phone. So I'm not getting them. Yeah. Right? Yes, indeed, folks. So these are the situations that we find ourselves in. Yeah? Right now, May Day has become a NDC rally from what those who attended and some other people who may have viewed various aspects are saying. It seems as though, in their view, that May Day has now become NDC rally. Well, if it's become a NDC rally, become a NDC rally. They have a right to do what they feel like doing. If they want to go and support the NDC, well, it's up to them. But I'm saying that will be the end of the unions. And those who truly believe in unionism, those who truly believe in protecting the workers of Grenada would ensure that they do the right thing. Yeah, NNP is now in power, but for 4 years, for 2023, 2024, 2025, and now 2026. So the last 4 Mayday is attacking NNP. Yeah, that's where it reached to. I feel left out though, my name doesn't call these days. But anyhow, folks, as I mentioned to you earlier this week, there is an outstanding matter regarding the Kawana Bay Hotel. There is an outstanding matter there. This week on the Bob Report, and I did play that for you earlier this week, there was the mention that the investors have now been paid. Now let me explain this to you. With the CBI project, you have the developer, and the developer gets investors. So the developer was the True Blue Bay Development, whatever the name was there, right? You have them. They were given by the government of Grenada X amount of slots, passport citizenship slots, that they could sell in order to finance the project. They gave a cost and they said that is so much, so on. On top of that, they were also told that you had to come up with a particular percentage. I can't remember the percentage off the top of my head right now. But they had to come up with a particular percentage of the overall cost to be able to carry out, to be approved for the project. I can't remember if it's 20% or whatever of the overall cost that they had to put their own money. So it can't be that you come up with a project and you say, we're building a hotel. And then Grenada says to you, okay, go ahead and build the hotel. And you just go in and get investors and take in money that's supposed to be building the hotel, and then you're using the money otherwise, and the hotel never built. Because then Grenada really gains nothing much out of it, except for the little fees in relation to the passports and so on, and the application, and that's what you gain. But the vast majority of the money, then the developers could take that money. So Grenada said, no. To be approved, you will have to give X amount as the amount to be approved. Right. Initially, the developer didn't have it. Then, when they realized Flour, Mud and Water, they did make a payment. Then they tried to get back the payment, which is wrong. They tried when people were buying the investors now. So an investor comes up, they look at this thing, they say, yeah, I want to be involved in this. I want to put my money towards this. I'll get my Grenadian citizenship, but I want to put my money towards that. Because I want to be a shareholder in that hotel. So they put their money towards it. And instead of utilizing the money to actually build the hotel, the developer was utilizing the money otherwise. So they were basically taking back the percentage that they had to pay down to be approved as a developer of a CBI project. They were trying to utilize now the investors' money. So what they did, they start the bill and they're doing things, but they're also taking out money that should have been going towards building to utilize elsewhere. The shrewd folks in the government of Grenada at that point in time, of course it was the New National Party then, picked up on what they were doing. They get 1 warning, do it again, 2 warning, they do it again, 3 strikes, you're out. Remember those words exactly. 3 strikes. In fact, you know what? Yeah. Here's what. Let me play something here. Yeah, let me play something.
Fact is, this developer was a member of the diplomatic community as given by the government until his resignation. And it made it even more important to ensure that his actions were in keeping with the laws of the country. In other words, he has a bigger responsibility. So if our efforts to ensure compliance with the laws of the land makes us anti-business and anti-investor, I am proud. But let me say this further, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman when we found out that the monies that he was collecting from the CBI, didn't correlate with the construction activities on the ground, we asked for explanation. You know what the gentleman did? He called a couple of investors trying to get them, Mr. Speaker, to behave like him so that he would not be the one doing it. One investor called us and said, why is this man calling us? He did it again a second time, Mr. Speaker. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs can bear me out. I called a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and he went together with one of his workers or investors and said to him that as a person representing the country, you may have an interest in your investment and you have a right to, but your behavior is inconsistent with that sort of representation. And I said to him, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs will remember, I said, I'm sure you're aware of something called baseball. 1 strike, 2 strikes. The 3rd strike, what? You out. So this resignation, you see them, Mr. Speaker, is because he knows that he was out because he did it a 3rd time. So what they say in our local parlance? Take in front before in front take you. I know there's some of us here would love to take what he said and run with it. I love that. I want to see who brave Grenadian, who is so anti-Grenada, who so love people that don't necessarily look like themselves, would come and tell us that we treated this gentleman unfairly. And look what he said. Mr. Speaker, I say this. We, in addition to making sure that people who get our citizenship, and we are proud of the program because it brought us a lot, we added an additional condition in the laws that you have to ensure that 20% of the investment must be your input in the project. In other words, you can't just walk into the country and say you want to be in CBI program and you're a papa, you have nothing. So, well, any one of us could be a CBI applicant. Why couldn't Dummy James be one? Why not? You don't have to come with nothing. You don't even have to come with clothes. Just come. And you just get some bright fellow, capable marketer to market and put some big title behind you and go around and get some application, get the citizenship, and the project is all funded by the country's application. So we said 20% must come from your investment. And several of the investors have in fact met that. Some of them had difficulties with their monk, but we say 20%. You got to put something down. So, Mr. Speaker, the gentleman, because he couldn't get the application, he did put down his 20%. But later on he said he has to recoup the 20% from CBI application. Well, that means the same thing. That means you are putting nothing. That means you're putting nothing. So he decided he's not doing this. So we said, and I think that was really that drove him with that desperation. Because I don't know what he needed. Because if your construction cost, as the engineer pointed out, is $30-something million, and you collected over $50-something million already, you still want another $40-something million in our application? I mean, I don't understand. That is what brought the whole thing down, Mr. Speaker. So we said, no, we're not going to give you that large excess of money. What are you doing with it? Is something not being brought in Grenada to invest in the development of the country? That is what brought on this hostility. So, Mr. Speaker, I felt it was necessary to give the Parliament, and by implication, the nation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He wrote him resigning his position, but he's still an investor. He's now trying to sell his investment. Well, I don't know how smart that man could be. You still have investment on the ground because some investors, you owe them because you have accepted their money. And you want to sell, but you got into this big public spot with the government, and they almost have, in fact, saying that the country must change. Imagine a white man coming and tell we must change the government of Grenada. Could you believe this character? If I was in the street, I'd say another word. He's telling us that we must change the government of the country, the leadership of the country. Not the people must do it. He's telling people what to do. The hostility, the anger tells you something. It's the same man that used to pretend to be so nice. And he loved the prime minister, he loved the country, the country so beautiful and people so nice. All of a sudden, he's telling people, almost telling people not to invest in Grenada. That's what he's telling people. He now hates not just me, not just members of the government, he hates the entire country because he's not able to do what he wants.
So folks, listening to Dr. Mitchell, a question formed in my mind. Since he was, as the developer, he had a 20% interest in the project. He's been paid as the developer. Is it that this individual was now paid as an investor now for the 20% that they had in this project as well? So hear me out. Remember, I'm telling you that there is the developer. So that's one aspect of the project, the developer. The person who comes up with the people to actually build the stuff and design the stuff and all of that. He's the developer. But as the developer, he also has an interest as an investor. And from what we were hearing from Dr. Mitchell there back in 2021, he was trying to sell his interest as an investor in the project. So he has been paid, as far as we know by the government of Grenada, $22 million US, 22 million US as the developer. What we need to find out now from the present administration is if the same individual was now paid as an investor on top of that 22 million that they got already. That, as far as we have heard, they've been paid their 22 million US. If on top of that, he has now been paid as an investor as well, along with the other 214 investors that invested in that project. That will be a very interesting question to hear the answer to. Because as to the audit document of that company, the audit document, let me see if I can here. The audit document, and let me pull it up here and show you all. The audit document of the Kawana. Yeah, it showed here 214 investors. Those are the people who have invested in it at a cost of some $59,725,000. Yeah? So this is after review and everything. This is the number of files that were approved on a yearly basis: 2017, 6, 2018, 26, 2019, 65, 2020, 93, 2021-24 for a total of $59,725,000. Yeah? $59,725,000. That is how much was owed. We hear that it's paid now to the investors. But the developer is also an investor. So the question that formulated in my mind a short while ago is, was he also paid additional money now again as an investor? And if so, how much? Or was that the end of it? Because if it's so, best did it go to court? And we know they didn't go because they know that Claudette incompetent and she'd lose the case. But Grenada would not have lost that case had we gone to court. We wouldn't have lost the case. So we have to ask ourselves these very serious questions right now, because the government not coming forth to people and speak about this particular one. They're not letting you know about these 214 people here. These 214 that you're seeing here. They're not letting you know about them, and they're not letting you know that these people, this is the amount of money that these people were supposed to receive. Not all of this, all of this adds up to this $59,725,000 US, not Eastern Caribbean currency, US dollars. And this, again, is separate to the 20% interest as an investor that True Blue Bay has in that project. So since you're paying the investors, have they now received another significant payment as part of the investors in this project? And I do believe that is a very valid question. Now, Mr. Richard Duncan, he said that we need to ask the Attorney General Chambers about that one. He said, yeah, he don't know about that. Yeah. He said you had to ask the Attorney General Chambers about that particular one. So let's hear the first part of what he had to say there on the Bob report. Yeah.
It's more like cream, Kelon. It's more like cream, right? And why I say,
Okay.
more cream
All right.
elephant as opposed to a white elephant. Why do I say that? There is a substitute developer who has been selected by the Grenada authorities to proceed with that project. And they have had several other projects on the ground that they are trying to complete. And I'm speaking about the Silver Sands group, the JDC group. As you know, they have expanded and done some work on the property in Granans. They have completed the beach house, and I think they have another phase to do. And they also did some work in Port Louis. Having said that, the hope is that they will then turn their attention to Kawana Bay, which they have the approval to develop, and they're trying to recalibrate how they will build out that project. So that is in the works, probably taking longer than everyone expected, but there is a substitute developer there. And very importantly, the investors who invested in that project are, as we speak, duly compensated for their property rights that have been acquired by the government of Grenada to allow that project to proceed. So I just saw a substitute developer there. And very importantly, the investors who invested in that project are, as we speak, duly compensated for their property rights that have been acquired by the government of Grenada to allow that project to proceed. So there. And very importantly, the investors who invested in that project are, as we speak, duly compensated for their property rights that have been acquired by the government of Grenada to allow that project to proceed. So I just thought I'll stick that in.
Right, so we know that they have now been paid. Not that they will be paid, not that they may be paid, not that they legally are required to be paid. They have been paid. And we have to ask ourselves now the simple question, how much have they been paid? So that's a simple question we need an answer to. If you're saying that they have been paid, so you know they have been paid, there must be a quantum, there must be a figure. And especially as Mr. Duncan himself is an individual that has dealt with figures, whether it's in the Ministry of Finance, whether it's as a banker in the frock, he has always been a person that dealt with figures. So I would think that being a person that dealt with figures, one of the questions he would ask when being told that they have been paid, and in the position in which he is that he knows they've been paid, I assume that he would know how much they've been paid.
Mr. Duncan, quick question here, and that follow-up I think is very important. With respect to the former investors at Kawana Bay, you did say that they, of course, there were more than, I believe there were close to 200 investors there. Now, what is the amount have they been paid out? What have they been paid out? What was the compensation structure looking like? Do we know?
No.
At what cost that came to the state?
Right. So I do not know, Kelon, that Attorney General's office has...
Remember, the person who is speaking there is the chairman of the CBI committee. He's so named here. The chairman of the CBI committee is telling you he doesn't know how much has been paid out there. Yeah, I find that to be very suspect. I think personally that he may have known and decided that he is not going to say. I'll leave it, I'll put that, let Claudette and them deal with that. I am not going to say. That's my personal belief. But anyway, let's see his response to that question.
Now, what is the amount have they been paid out? What have they been paid out? What was the compensation structure looking like? Do we know?
No.
At what cost that came to the state?
Right. So I do not know, Kelon, that Attorney General's office has carriage of that matter along with the Ministry of Finance. But suffice it to say that the government acquired, right, the property. And in any self-respecting jurisdiction, once you acquire people's property rights, those rights have to be valued and the people adequately compensated. And that there's a website or a portal created where people came in, they proved their ownership, whether freehold or leasehold. A valuer was engaged and a settlement figure arrived at with the council. And those...
But he knows all that and he doesn't know what the total amount is. Anyhow.
Monies are being settled.
And did they get to keep their passports? Did they get to keep their Grenadian passports?
Well, absolutely, yes. I don't think that wasn't contention at all.
That is absolutely ridiculous. They bought money to get the pass. They bought...
So anyway, yeah, Brian, you will deal with that another day. Right. So the bottom line is here, we're hearing from the chairman of the CBI committee that these folks have been paid. So in my view, it is not 214, it is 214 plus the 20% interest of True Blue Bay. Is that the name of the company? True Blue, whatever they call themselves. They've been wound up now. But that company, yeah, or the individuals involved in that company, they had 20% as investors in the project. So did this government give them back the 20%? Yeah? Or was that 20% part of the arrangement that they gave them as the developers? That's what we need to know. Yeah? We need to know that. We definitely need to know that. The government does not want to have this discussion. They do not want to have this discussion regarding that. Yeah? Because we've been hearing all sorts of dates of when it's going to start and so on. The project is going to start.
When is the Kawana Bay Hotel project expected to resume?
Thank you, Gwalbert. We are working assiduously with the intended developer. That's Mr. Naguib Sawari from the Silver Sands project. We are keeping our fingers crossed that construction work can commence in the last quarter of 2026. We are in the middle of finalizing, or he's in the middle of finalizing some of his financing arrangements, including with, I think, the local bank as well. I'm hoping that by the end of April, we can have this done and dusted, and then we'll be in a position to have a joint announcement.
Are we at the end of April right now? April was ended yesterday, I would know.
From both the developer and the government. As I said, I've asked that they seek to commence the work by the last quarter of 2026, and we're optimistic that that can happen. They are finishing up work currently on the expansion that they did to Silver Sands. So hopefully once that is under the belt, it gives them more bandwidth to take on the Kawana Bay project.
Hopefully, yeah? Hopefully, once that is complete, it gives them more bandwidth to take on Kawana. So you're not even sure if they will, yeah? But remember, we heard the Attorney General speaking on this particular one. Yeah, we heard her speaking on this particular issue. And let's hear her.
Just to clarify for the listening public that the state of Grenada was sued for $111 million thereabouts US in the Kewana Bay dispute. And we settled.
Folks, again, which we would not have lost and not had to pay. In fact, they would have had to pay the Grenadian people, but
for 22 million, less than a quarter of what we were sued for. And in the arbitration claim, there was not a claim in relation to the property as such, because the property was still owned by the True Blue developers. So in the settlement, we were able to get the property back for the people of Grenada and settle the arbitration dispute. So that encompassed the 22 million.
And that was a lie, because now you're hearing that they've paid the investors. And again, was True Blue Bay Limited paid as an investor along with the 214 people that are owed that 59 million plus US?
People understand the 22 million just did not only cover the value of the property. It was to settle all of the claims made against the people of Grenada or the state of Grenada. And
again, that was a lie. And in any normal country, the Attorney General would be immediately fired for lying like that to the Grenadian people. That did not settle all the claims. If that did settle all the claims, then what is Mr. Richard Duncan speaking about right now?
Value of the property. It was to settle all of the claims made against the people of Grenada. It was to settle all of the claims made against the people of Grenada or the state of Grenada that totaled $111 million. It was to settle all of the claims made against the people of Grenada or the state of Grenada that totaled $111 million.
So we know that for a fact that the Attorney General, in her capacity, on the, let me give you the exact date, the 19th of October 2023. Yeah, that's the 19th of October 2023. Let me get a date, because I usually date these things. Yes, the 19th of September, not October, the 19th of September 2020. No, that's not even September, that's August. Yeah, the 9th. Yeah. Yes, so the 19th, right, 2023. That she lied to the Grenadian people. Yeah. So let's see what she had to say about the passport holders, the people who hold the passports under this. Yeah, let's hear what she had to say, because these are the people they're talking about being paid right now. And come on, I need you to open here. Yeah, these are the people that are being paid, that have now been paid, according to what we're hearing from Mr. Duncan.
Okay, so my other question is also for clarity on the Kewana Bay developers. Can you just tell us why they would be allowed to keep their passports?
All right, so when you say they, you probably need to clarify. So the site has been acquired from the main developer. The individual persons who invested in the development, which is the CBI development, would be persons who, as part of their investment in the development, would have acquired Grenadian citizenship. And so by virtue of that, the mere fact that the government has acquired the site doesn't deprive them in any way, shape, or form of their citizenship. If, for instance, you were someone was born in Grenada and you has a Grenadian passport and there was land that the government needed for public purpose, the government could acquire the land and pay you compensation. It wouldn't in any way, shape, or form impact your rights as a citizen of the country. So the acquisition of the site has nothing to do with the individual investors' citizenship in Grenada.
So it has nothing to do with that, but he very deftly avoided saying straight out that we have to pay these 214 people. Yeah? He avoided saying that directly, that he has to pay these 214 people. And let's hear what the
Okay, so my other question.
Oops, no, not that one. Let's see. Okay, no, that's the same one. Right, yeah. And let's hear what was said in relation to returning the money to these investors.
On the Kimpton Kawana Bay issue, the follow-up to what Ms. Telesford asked about the passports, I'm confused there again with your response, Prime Minister. The investors, the smaller investors, not the developers, the investors who got passports in exchange for the investments that they made under the Citizenship by Investment program, are they exiting, are they being compensated and exiting the project as well? Are we getting this project totally and fully without any of the previous, the developer, the investors, everybody's out?
Yes, the simple answer is yes. When you acquire the property, you're acquiring the interest of anyone who has a property interest, and that would have included any of the investors who would have been granted a condominium interest.
And folks, remember that the developers were also investors with 20%
in the property.
So they are being reimbursed the money they paid for the passport.
It doesn't work that way.
So explain it to me, please.
It's a property acquisition. Whatever money you made from an investment point of view is a risk that someone takes. If you, as a result of your investment, that's a matter between you and the developer. As a result of your investment, the developer would have contracted and would have deeded you a condominium interest or a unit interest in the property. Then the acquisition would have acquired that. That's a property interest. And if any compensation is to be paid, it would be in relation to the property interest. But just like any other investment, if you take an investment, let's put it this way: whether or not the government acquired the property, anyone who had up to our acquisition invested in that property, what would they have had? An interest in a abandoned, closed down site. We can do an assessment of whether that's an investment or a loss. But essentially, what we've acquired is a property, and anyone who has an interest in the property would have an opportunity to present any claims for evaluation of their interest in the property and to be compensated accordingly.
So some people may decide we're going to keep the investment, we're staying in. That's fine too, and they continue to be.
No, I'm saying they can't decide whether they keep the investment. I'm saying the government has acquired the site. As a matter of law, we have that right. And having acquired the site, I'm saying what they have is a right to be compensated for whatever interest they might have had in the property. So I'm saying whatever investment, because I'm making the point that you could invest in something that doesn't actually have value. Called a bad investment, right? You can buy something, you can spend $1 million for it, and then you try and sell it, and someone only wants to pay $50 for it. So what I'm saying is that whatever interest any investor has from a property interest perspective, based on the Land Acquisition Act, they would be entitled to be compensated.
Okay, so I'm asking about the citizenship, the implications for the citizenship that they got as a result of it.
Because I'm saying that the citizenship, although it's called citizenship by investment, I'm saying once you made the investment, whether the investment is successful or not, has nothing to do with that person's right to retain the citizenship. Because the government, the way it works is that they've acquired the citizenship, they're citizens of Grenada. And if the investment they made turns out to be an investment that wasn't really true or is not successful, that's just a loss that they take. There is no guarantee nor underwriting any of the investments that individual investors make. In the CBI program. We also have to recall there are two components to CBI. There's the property development ones where people may invest in a particular property. And there's the National Transformation Fund CBI program where someone simply pays the government $200,000 and acquires citizenship. They're not making any investment there in the sense of seeking to get a return from some particular property that they invested in. But arguably, you consider investing in Grenada because by giving $200,000 and acquiring citizenship, those funds are used for budgetary support, the funds are used for repayment of loans, the funds are used for government projects, as the case might be.
So, folks, again, you've heard the Prime Minister very clearly there. The people have to be, because they've acquired, according to the laws of Grenada. The Constitution gives you the ability, and there's the Land Acquisition Act as well. And I can pull the Land Acquisition Act up for you all. And what it says here, yeah? So, the Land Acquisition Act says here, if the Governor General considers that any land should be acquired for a public purpose, he or she may make a declaration to that effect to be made in the manner provided by this section, and the declaration shall be conclusive evidence that the land to which it relates is required for a public purpose. Yeah, every declaration shall be published in 2 ordinary issues of the Gazette and copies therefore shall be posted on one of the buildings, if any, on the land or exhibited at suitable places in the locality in which the land is situate. In the declaration shall be specified the following particulars related to the land which is to be acquired. And we went over this with you when we spoke to the properties that were had to be acquired for the expansion, the widening of the Cliff Road. So we went over aspects of the Land Acquisition Act to you. Yeah? It also says that these people have to be paid, and I'm looking for that part here in relation to where they need to be paid quickly. Right. So if within 3 months after entry has been made on any land under provisions of Section 4, such land shall not be acquired or abandoned. Any person interested in the land or any part thereof may serve a notice of the authorized officer requiring that the acquisition of the land or part thereof be completed or abandoned, and if within 1 month thereafter the acquisition of such land or part thereof, no, this is not the part I'm looking for. Yeah? But the person has to be paid. They have to be paid, and I'm just flipping through as I have it on the screen to see if I can find that part. But they have to be paid promptly. So we know that right now. Yeah, it speaks to the rules of the costs and so on here. Shall pay to the claimant the reasonable costs incurred by him or her about the preparation and submission of his claim. Right, all of that is there. Right, so it has to be paid. So the bottom line is this. Using that same Land Acquisition Act, the Land Acquisition Act that was amended as of, let me just show you here, the Land Acquisition Act, Chapter 159, Land Acquisition Act, amended 1991 and 1998. And you see the various sections of the Land Acquisition Act there. That is what was used by the government to acquire that property. They did publish in the Government Gazette, and I'm looking to see if I have a copy of the Government Gazette that was in here. Yeah, but it was published in the Government Gazette for the acquisition of that property. So it was published. It has been acquired, and the people need to be paid. But up to now, you and I do not know how much has been paid. We have no idea. We do not know how much has been paid to the developers, to the interest holders now. We know the developers is 22 million. But we do not know if they have now been paid. First they've been paid as developers and now they're paid as investors. We do not know. Nor do we know how much the investors have been paid, how many of them have been paid, because it could very well mean, let's say 150 of the investors, they came and they said, well, okay, we want our money and so on, and they got their money. And the other, how much didn't come and ask for their money, so they didn't get anything. It could be a situation like that. We do not know. But our government needs to tell us. They need to inform us of if these individuals who were paid, how much they were paid. Was it a percentage of how much they invested? Or was it the total amount that they invested plus something? How much were they paid? It's a simple question. How much were they paid? We need to find that out. Folks, I'm going to open the phone lines again. 1473-440-7377 and 1473-421-7279. Yeah, I'm going to open the phone lines again because it's very important that we get to the bottom of this. It's very important that we get to the bottom of this one, that we find out exactly what has taken place. Because again, they like to speak about taxpayer money and they like to speak about payments and so on. We need to know how much was paid. Yeah, we need to know how much of the Grenadian tax dollars were paid in this interest. Because again, if you listen to what Dr. Mitchell was saying, the developer was caught in wrongdoing. They were being given money by the government to do a project and were not using the money to do that project. They were taking back their 20%, the money that they put in, they were taking it back. That is not what the arrangement says. The arrangement says that you have to have 20% interest, because if you have 20% interest, you would definitely want to see that project completed. Yeah? You would definitely want to see that project completed if you have a 20% interest in it. So you would make sure that you do what is necessary for that project to be completed. We are not seeing, if that indeed this has happened, that these individuals have gotten back their monies as investors. Because if they have 20% interest in what was acquired as investors, and they made an application that as investors we have 20% interest in this, and they were not paid, we may be hearing from them that they need to be paid in the near future. They never could tell. That could end up being somebody campaign funds. They could be frying us in our own oil. Because we know that the particular individual asked that Grenadians, and let me go to the phone lines here. Hello, good night. To be paid in the near future. Hello, good night. They could be frying us in our own oil. Hello? Hello?
Shalom.
Hi, good night.
Shalom.
Yes, sir. Hey, good night, sir.
I have a deep interest in this matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a part of the cabinet at the point in time when the project started.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that under the CBI Act, I don't care how they want to call it, it's citizen by investment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name. You had two options to get citizenship. So focus on that. Either you pay some money into the consolidated fund in the account for development, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Or you invest in a property, in a project. Is that clear?
Yes.
Based on that, you get a passport. Yes?
Yes.
So the basis of becoming a citizen is that you invested in a project. Is that clear?
That is very clear.
Right. If the basis for the issue of citizenship no longer exists, why are you still a citizen?
That is a very interesting aspect of it that I was not looking at. I think Brian was trying to raise that on the Bob report, but he didn't get into. He just said, "Well, why should they have the passport?" But he did not raise it in the context that you are now raising it.
It is as simple, and let me go further. You're not a lawyer. The Prime Minister is a lawyer. So I want him to answer that question lawyer to lawyer. There is what you call privity of contract between the developer and the person who enters into the arrangement with that developer. Correct? We are not party to that contract, Sheldon. The contract in terms of the development and all of these things are between the developer and the investor. For example, Mr. De Savory was sued successfully and he had to pay back over $1 million to somebody who invested in the project on Ghanaian's Beach. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because he failed to develop it. He went to court and the Grenadian court ordered payment to that gentleman. We didn't get involved. And I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm walking you through it.
Mm-hmm.
The government of Grenada was not sued in that action. So the failure to carry on with the development is covered by a separate agreement between the investor and the project owner. Am I clear now?
Yes, very, very clear.
Right. So the project owner owes these developers, not the people of Grenada. It means that my Prime Minister has bought over the debt, and the AG knows that. They bought over the debt of the developer. So whatever arrangement they had, or they made with the developers in Silver Sands, I want to see that agreement. It means they agreed to take over the debt that belonged to the developer of the land that they so-called acquired. Is it clear now?
So in short, we were not supposed to be paying these investors anything. That was between
Anything at all.
the developer and them.
Anything at all. That's not our business. And as a matter of fact, we're suffering twice. Because remember, under that project development, we're not getting the money we should have gotten if you had put the money into the development fund. Correct?
Okay, yeah.
The money goes into the project. I give you a passport and you put the money into the project. So the money you put into the project rightfully is an investment by the people of Grenada in the project. How can I know, how can the government, my government, agree to let you retain the passport which you paid for by putting it into the project and then pay you again based on what is the value of the project?
So we've lost. We get burned.
Do you understand? Do you understand my reasoning?
Absolutely. And I fully agree.
So let this government, this wasteful government, they need to come and show us the terms of the agreement with the developers of the Silver Sands project. Because you are giving this gentleman the entire site. You acquire it, you take all the risks, and you're giving this man. You have taken away all the liability. Tell me how that makes sense.
So let me ask as well, because I'm wondering, because it could be part of the initial agreement, but as the developer is also an investor with a 20%.
Sheldon, we should not be wondering what is a part of what. Her Majesty's opposition in Parliament must demand those documents. Okay. That's a part of a part of their oversight. They have to disclose the documents because they have negotiated effectively. They have negotiated a debt on the consolidated fund. Isn't that so?
Yes, that we are unaware of the amount.
Well, that's the point I'm making. They have entered into an agreement with certain developers in Silver Sands by which they exchange land. Where is that document? So I want to put my hands on these documents so I can do a piece for the Grenadian people.
So it's
I haven't written for a number of years. I think it's time to pick up my pen.
So so this is way above just the acquisition and the Land Acquisition Act, and
of course
this is way past. That's just a minor thing down the road.
Of course,
this is way past that. This is we shouldn't even be in that.
Sheldon,
we should know where
the government can acquire whatever they want. But if you're acquiring, look at what you're acquiring, man. You find that makes sense? If you're buying cat and bag.
And no, you've
or
just
maybe
spoken
or maybe you put some, or maybe you get some money for the cat. That people don't know. Sheldon, the transaction makes no sense. And what Dr. Mitchell said is totally correct. Because I drafted certain conditionalities to these projects for the cabinet. So don't let them fool you.
And no one is as qualified to speak about the law regarding CBI in Grenada more than you. Because you were the person
I drafted. We did. The drafters in legal affairs did the research. Myself and Timothy Antoine, together with Dr. Patrick and we consulted and came up with the initial draft that went to cabinet and then to parliament. There were different amendments on the line. And it came to the point where the cabinet realized that we could have gotten into some problems with the development and how the funds were being used. You with me?
Yes.
That's the reason why the 20% and whatever it is came in, because the reality is that.
And the escrow account.
The control of the escrow. Because remember, previous to that arrangement, developers are coming in with their idea. They're putting nothing down. They get the land, and the money for the development was coming just from the sale of our passports. They were taking hardly any risk. So the 20% was put in to make sure that the developers had something to lose in the project.
Yes.
So Dr. Mitchell is totally correct. He's not lying. But this Prime Minister and this AG are not telling us the truth. They have not disclosed the arrangement. Let us see the legal documents.
And I think that's a very important call. I think the Grenadian people need to have sight of those documents. And there's nothing barring them from making those documents available to the opposition and the Grenadian people.
And let me make another point. Contrary to what the Prime Minister is saying. Any citizenship granted under those conditions can be revoked. I repeat. Any citizenship granted under those conditions can be revoked for cause. So you got your citizenship. Hear it now. I heard Kalishu asking the question and he was ducking it. You got your citizenship on the basis that you invest into a project. The project failed. You want back your money. Give me back my citizenship. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah. That makes more sense than leaving them with the citizenship and paying them on top of it.
So all this stupidity trying to talk about, there's no absolute right. The only person whose citizenship can be revoked are those who are constitutionally given. You're born to a Grenadian and so on, right? The conditions under which the CBI citizenship are granted is covered by a separate section of the Constitution of Grenada, I think section 98, right? And any citizenship granted under that section can be revoked. As a matter of fact, the CBI Act provides for the revocation of citizenship. So don't let the Prime Minister fool you. Kalishu asked the right question. If you have to pay them back, why are they keeping the passport? Common sense. So this foolishness is given the nation makes no sense.
Well, we have heard of sources of funding for certain activities. Because
Sheldon, I'm not going there. I'm listening to the program and I heard these things. Hold on, I ain't getting into the politics. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer in politics like other people. I'm a lawyer. And I heard these statements and they are wrong. They are misleading. So this 22 million or whatever it is that the AG talk about is just nonsense. They need to come to the Grenadian people, to the Parliament of Grenada with an account of the Kiwana Bay project. With all of the contractual arrangements. Bring it above board and let the Grenadian people decide whether or not the transaction was above board, whether or not the transactions were made for the benefit of the people of Grenada.
Well,
so Sheldon, you're scratching the surface. That's the reason why I called.
Next thing,
I call you to the meat under the surface.
Next thing, it get infected, you know.
Well, Sheldon, watch. I live so long already, yeah, that if the Lord says my time is my time.
Because I'm even more baffled right now since that you've put it in this context, because before, when they spoke about the passport part of it, I just left that alone, but now understand that no, that's a very important component of the entire discussion, because we're not supposed to be going down that road at all.
Listen, Sheldon, you think people would have just come and invest in that program? No, they came to invest in that Kiwana Bay project because of the passport. It is the passport that enticed them to invest. Isn't that so?
Yes. Yes, they wanted
Right.
the passport.
Exactly. And based on that, based on the passport, they entered into an agreement with the developers. And I repeat, that part is not our business. Because I was the one who had to bring the judgment to cabinet for Dr. Mitchell and company to see what happened. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. When the family sued the Savory and got a judgment and got back how much million or whatever dollars. The government of Grenada was not a party to that.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever arrangement made with the Kiwana Bay developers should have been made, not accepting liability for the investors. You with me?
Yes.
Because our passport was used to bring them in. We can be held at fault.
So may I ask you a question here? I realize that the company has been wound up. I saw the documentation in the Gazette and so on. Does that protect them? Was that some sort of move to protect them from exactly what you're saying should have taken place?
Of course.
So that's why they rushed and wound up the company.
Of all of that, and then the other issue, which I'm not sure. I am not sure which company was holding the land, because there were more than one companies involved in that transaction, Sheldon.
Which leads back to the aspect that I asked before. Were these people paid as investors? Were they not paid as investors outside of being paid as developers? Were they now paid as investors in the same property?
Sheldon, I'm saying it again. This government needs to come to the Parliament of Grenada with full disclosure regarding their dealings with the Kiwana Bay project. We cannot believe their word anymore. And it's our money, it's not theirs. They are stewards of our money. They can't be taking it and dashing it all over the place.
Because they have said nothing to us about the quantum that they paid that they should not have paid. From what you're explaining now, they should not have. They had nothing to do with that. That had nothing to do with them. They should have been.
Sheldon, it's more than that. The question to be asked, first of all, why did you accept liability on that contract with which you are not involved? That's the first question. That's the reason why I brought to the surface now the issue of the Savory suit. We were not involved as the people of Grenada. It was a separate contractual arrangement. The investor sued the Savory group based on their contractual arrangement and what was promised them. You understand me? There are two separate contracts there in the development. We're not involved in the contracts with the people who get the passport, That's not our part. That's the developer's part. What the government does is to signal that development has their blessing. And it's published on the website. You with me?
Yes.
So people who are interested know which project they want to be invested, correct?
Right, yes.
So then they enter into negotiations with the project developer. We don't get involved in that. We don't get involved in that.
So it's basically we just say, okay, we take in responsibility, and we take responsibility for things we had no reason to take responsibility for as well. We just give these people we just give these people money, lap and cut, for a case that we definitely would have won, for a case that definitely would have won.
Sheldon, I'm not going there. I'm a lawyer. I want to see the case evaluated for myself. I have not seen what was filed. You only hearing the AG come in and talk about 100 and something million what? Most people, when they sue for a big sum and hope you get a little bit in it. Correct?
Yeah, that's what you do.
Okay. So by saying the $100 million they claim, so what? Which part of the 100 and something million is genuine or could be proved? And then I'm going to get to your point as to whether or not you're going to win what you claim for. But you run busy, you run your mouth on Dr. Mitchell, and then you run busy and settle it. Didn't tell Grenadian people that you have to pay the investors. The Prime Minister said before, if they could prove their interest. My God, but you know they have an interest. So why are you lying? He said that in an interview before. If they have an interest, he ducked the question. So now, you only now realize they had an interest?
So even in negotiation with the then developers and so on, they're saying that they didn't take into context the investors. Because it seemed like they didn't take into context. Because the Attorney General said to us, this is the entire thing. This is all that has to be paid. That
was a lie from day one.
But isn't that something that is actionable, that she has lied to the Grenadian people?
Well, you see, that's a different issue. The issue has to do with again, His Majesty's opposition need to deal with that.
Because it was an outright lie. It was an outright lie that gave the impression to the Grenadian people it's only 22 million US and everything done. That's it. We're done with this thing now.
Sheldon, old people say water pressure does bust pipe. That's all I will say. So it is the Grenadian people to create the pressure now to bust those pipes and to get to the bottom of all of those corrupt transactions. Because it doesn't make sense to lawyers. We're not talking about a Prime Minister who's not a lawyer. So tell me what sense it makes. And he has been very successful in a number of business cases. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He get a big payday with the Grand Lake matter, ain't it?
Yeah, well, all that money passed anyway. You ain't doing the politics.
Well, no, I don't envy that. I'm just saying that to say that he has skills as a lawyer. So why did he not use those legal skills when he is defending the rights and the money of Grenadians? That's my question. Am I making sense?
Absolute sense, sir.
Right. You're a skilled lawyer.
With facts to back it up. With facts to back it up, because you've now given a pretext. You've given a situation that similar took place and what took place through the Grenadian courts.
Yep.
You've given this is what took place through the Grenadian courts. This was the outcome. The Grenadian people didn't have to put a single cent into that. That had nothing to do with us.
Nope.
But yeah, it is we don't even want to speculate on the amount because we have no sight of the documentation and we do not know.
I repeat again, Sheldon. His Majesty's opposition must demand disclosure of these transactions, the documents. I'm sure there are written agreements that were signed on behalf of the people of Grenada by this administration. So there must have been an agreement to put us in a place where we owe these people, because we didn't owe them in the beginning. Am I clear?
Very clear.
Right. So let them come up with the answer. And who want to watch me cut and cuss me on the internet, that's all right. That's your mouth.
Oh, come on, people, I know it makes sense to cuss you again.
Well, I'm not online, so they can't catch me and tell me nothing, so they're talking behind my back. I call in when something stick in my car and I believe I could say something to help my people in Grenada. I will pick my phone up and call anytime.
I think what I have to do is pick the phone up and call you two before I talk on some of these things. I think I need to start. I need to start operating. So before I talk on some things, call you first.
Sheila, let me tell you something. I'm not taking a political side as yet. Listen to me carefully, as yet. I ain't going further with that. But my point is that I will speak on platforms that I feel to speak on if there is a topic there that I have information on that I can share to educate the people of Grenada. That's all.
Yes, it is.
I'm not saying it to favor anybody else. When I spoke about the young man who died around my village, it was because I had information. I ain't trying to get at anybody. And I put the blame where it is. It's a national security issue, and the Prime Minister ought to, and the magistrate ought to, and the DPP ought to take action. It's not too late. They need to clarify that. And when you're ready, I'm ready to deal with that oil and gas, and you're going to find out something.
Well, look how next week will be hot on the program. Because I think it's time for us to deal with the oil and gas during next week.
It's past time to deal with that oil and gas.
Let's say,
so you ain't noticed that between between 2008 and 2012, nothing happened in oil and gas.
Yep.
And you notice that between 2022 and now, nothing happened except they have a big parade and talking a set of stupidness, this and that and the other, and appointing people. Nothing happened. You following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes. In 2008, there was an agreement, and they did nothing. When they get kicked out in 2012, 2013, 2018, things happen. Correct?
Yes.
They come back in power after 2018 was pandemic.
COVID,
yes.
Yeah.
Right. 2022 they come in power, and since 2022 the Prime Minister said, in my presence, that he's going to make decisions for the betterment and advancement and in the interest of Grenada. I challenge him in his office. He said that to me in my face. Don't worry, what decision I'm making is for Grenada. I say, okay, well, I hope so. You listening to me, Sheila?
Yes, I am.
Nothing has happened since then. The developers asked for some little area to be set up or some little unit to be set up so that they could deal with them rather than having to come to the top. They have done nothing. Because under the NNP, Mr. Ogis was the point person. He retired now.
I remember Mr. Ogis, yes.
There were people in the Ministry of Finance who were handling the business. What have they done? They appoint a big committee. I don't know how much money they pay in Nazim Bok and company and Richard and them. I don't know.
Also, it's
I know if it's free.
It's a paid? Oh, you don't know, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. But I'm saying they have them parading and having big statement in Trade Center. All of that is just flam. Is the flam we let's call it? All of that is flam. Sheldon, you want to know what I believe? You really want to know what I believe?
Go right ahead. I'm listening.
Their aim is to run long time on the contract.
Oh.
Okay, that's what they did from 2008 2012. And the same pattern is emerging now. 4 years, June making it 4 years gone? Yes? Okay. Because the contract has a finite time, okay?
So right now it's in the stage where they're just trying to run out the time.
Run down time. Run down time. So they're going to beg for another 4 years and run down the 4 years again. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. The developers begged and begged and begged. And the government has refused to help. They asked for a public statement. Sheldon, I drafted a statement together with the head of a team designated by the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister has refused to put out the statement to support the people who have an agreement with the government of Grenada for oil and gas.
Wow.
he has refused to put out the public release, which the people beg for and say to them, look, if the release goes out, we'll be in a better way to get partners to work with us. He refused to put it out.
How long has this been?
Almost 2 years now.
So not last week, not last month, 2 years now.
Not last week now. What? I don't hold me to that, but a lot of months now. And the gentleman came down to Grenada with the expectation that there was going to be a press release by the government of Grenada on oil and gas. And I drafted, we went to and fro, with the committee, That's the committee headed by Richard Duncan. We went to and fro. We came up with a final draft. And the Prime Minister refused to send it. And then they carry on with the meeting in Trade Center talking oil and gas. What? I wanted to pick up the phone when they were having the meeting and say, "Can you behave yourself?" But enough is enough, man.
Well, here's what. We're going to take Tuesday night and we're dealing strictly with oil and gas from the get-go. We're going stage by stage by stage exactly what happened and what you know where we are at right now as far as you know. Because I know you believe that they're doing a particular, trying to run down the clock right now. But what else?
Well, they are because they are not, look, they cannot say that there's not a valid agreement. There's a valid development license over certain sections of our marine environment. Yes?
Yes.
It's valid. They can't say it's not valid. They try all kind of things to try to say, they tried to get rid of it and they can't get rid of it. I can tell you that. But rather than work with the people who have been given the development license, they have actively frustrated them.
So by now, we could have been way advanced in the entire process.
I don't want to speculate. Maybe not. But I'm saying we have to do our part.
Yeah.
So all this talk I hearing, the people talking about trying to raise money and this and that, that's a different model. What they are now trying to do is to undertake the development with a different model. The model under, and listen carefully, the model under the license, the development license, is that the developers find the money and do everything. And we get royalty and what and training for our people and so on. That's what is in the agreement. That's what's in the agreement. So Grenada, in other words, we don't have the money to put into the development. You with me?
Yes.
So all this nonsense you're talking about that's not our work under the license. Our work under the license is to work with the developers and facilitate them while they raise the funding and so on, and we don't have shock what they're doing. We get training for our people, we get jobs for our people in the industry, and we get our royalty, our cut. So maybe this administration wants to change it, but they can't change it, Sheldon.
Because now they're talking about finding money to put into it, which is not part of the thing at all.
But they don't have the money. Sheldon, our budget is what $1 billion for the whole country, right?
1.2 or 1.3 or somewhere there. Yeah.
You know how much it is to set up one well? More than that. You listen to me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't talk. So they just talk. They're talking about getting money to invest. That's stupidness. They're just saying that because they have nothing else to say, no other excuse to give.
All right. My brother, as I said, on Tuesday, we're going to go deeper into this. I don't want to take everything tonight on it. Tuesday, let's go into oil and gas.
Sheldon, the chest full of a lot of different things. I just been hushing up.
I feel I'm going to give you a special part each week and say, nice catchy time.
Sheldon, what? Sheldon have children in Grenada? I have children here who want to grow up. So what they're doing affected my children? I can't ask them out, man.
And then if you decide
you come and lie and just fool people with a set of stupidness, no, you have to stop that.
And if you decide you want to retire, you want to be able to sit in your chair and relax in your veranda, you don't want problems going on around you.
Sheldon, anyway, Sheldon, good night. I hope people learn a bit from what I had to say on your program today.
I think they learned quite a bit, especially about the Kawana Bay. They learned quite a bit tonight. Believe me, even I learned quite a bit tonight. I ain't a lawyer, I just try a thing. Thank you so very much, sir. Hello? He's gone. Yes, indeed, folks, and I think that's a good place for us to end tonight. Yeah? What we are going to do, I'm going to speak to him behind the scenes, and we're going to get former Attorney General Cadgington Hood on with us on Tuesday night. Yeah? To go further into that oil and gas, because as he was saying, remember the original agreement was you would have training for your people, you would get your percentage out of the oil and gas, the developers themselves would find the funding to develop the entire thing. Grenada didn't have to go and find a $1 billion or $2 billion and so on, because come on, even with the oil and gas now, consider where is Grenada? Our national budget is what? 1.3, 1.4 billion, 1.5 billion, somewhere there. That's our budget on a yearly basis. So outside of that now, imagine us having to find the money for oil and gas, still find money for 500 houses a year, not a term, 500 houses a year, and still find the close to $1 billion that are going to be necessary to have Project Polaris completed. Where we finding all that money? You don't have it. You don't have it. They could barely pay public servants. Barely. They take over a year to pay the corporals their money. The police corporals, to pay them. Over a year it take them to pay them. Right now you're hearing people under MIT, they're telling them now they have to go and be registered as contractors to get paid. So you gave work to people who were not registered as contractors, and now you're telling them in order to pay them for the work that they have done, that they have guys sit down watching them for, that they have to go now and be registered as contractors to be able to get paid. Make that make sense. But folks, we won't go deeper into that tonight. I will be bringing Kaji on Tuesday, God's willing, with us, according to his availability. We'll be bringing him on Tuesday with us to speak oil and gas. And then we'll speak other issues with him as time goes by. I think I need some of these issues. I probably need to run them by Kaji first before I come with them, because I'm realizing that I'm leaving little holes in some of these discussions that I don't want to be leaving again. So I'm going to have to speak with him in relation to some aspects of these. Folks, that is all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you in everything you say and do. Do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to you and with you, and definitely not about you. And remember this weekend, remember the Holy Cross, they have the fair taking place up there. That's up in La Digue. Yeah, that is taking place. We have the other activities that are happening, and we want you all to support them, but we also want you to be careful when you're going out there. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. So remember, Holy Innocents Anglican Church, they have that harvest taking place this Sunday in La Digue, and you have other activities that are taking place around, and we'd always we'd always ask you all to be involved as much as possible, but do it safe and secure. Remember, take the time over the weekend. If you have not yet, by the end of the program, by now, contacted 5 people who have strayed from the NNP to come back home, make sure that you do it as soon as the program is over. You contact those 5 people, because maybe you was using the phone to listen to the program. My loving cuz up there in 6 Roads, a special good night to you, my love. Hope everything is going okay with you all. Folks, I am out. Do enjoy the rest of your night today.
Love I got down in me heart for my country. What cannot express? So I always prepare to give him just less. No matter what the consequence might be, whether day or night, once it's all for the good of my country, I'm ready to fight. So may find it strange, but I never change my philosophy endures, always country first. So I will climb over the highest wall when my country call. Hail, hail, Grenada, I give myself to thee. Yes, man, that's why I'm playing. I always playing. Good God, I'm playing for Team Grenada. Yes, man, I always playing. I keep on playing. Good God, I'm playing for Team Grenada, and that's a fact. Hey, ba-da-ba-da-da-dee-dan-do. Play for Grenada. Ba-ba-da-da-do. Ba-ba-da-da-do. Some may say that the grass is much greener on the other side. So anytime they get an opportunity, they're gone for the ride. They don't care if it's lightning or thunder, whether hot or cold. They wake up every day and they work for the pot of gold. And while they play their part, showcasing their skills, ignoring the dangers of the mines on the playing field. But when it comes down to the local game, they won't do the same. Hail, hail, Grenada, I give myself to thee. Yes, man, that's why I'm playing. I always playing. Good God, I'm playing for Team Grenada. Yes, man, I always playing.